Please join me as we welcome Tristia on the main stage for her presentation on AI tools to streamline learning development. Hello, Tristia. Welcome to the main stage here at the AI and Learning Summit. How are you today?
Doing well. Thank you, Stephen. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you very much. I have your presentation all loaded up here. So are you ready to go?
I think we're ready.
Fantastic. Take us away.
Awesome. First of all, thanks for inviting me and having me present at the AI and Learning Summit this year. I wanted to walk through some tools that I've been playing with, some AI technology that I think has actually good application and practical use in the type of work that we do as instructional designers and training developers. So let's get started. You can connect with me on LinkedIn there if you like. I will make sure that the slides are available via Google link for anybody who'd like to check them out more on their own time. So these are the tools that I'm going to walk us through. So Google Bard, WordTune, InVideo, Whisper AI, SoundDraw, 7Taps AI, and Well Said Labs, if we have time for all of those. So starting with Google Bard, much like ChatGPT, this is a text generation tool that, unlike ChatGPT actually uses real-time internet search data. So ChatGPT is only using data available up to 2021. So this makes it a lot more powerful in that it's pulling from relevant, real, timely information. But that doesn't mean that it's perfect, and there certainly are potential for misinformation and just flat out incorrect information. We can check out some of these examples here. One of these examples, you'll see I ask for project management frameworks specific to training development. Whoops, we'll go back one. And it actually gave me a couple, gave me ADDIE and I think Agile, and then it went into things like just-in-time training and micro-learning, which are not project management frameworks, right? So I had to kind of prompt it, that's not right. Can you give me examples like ADDIE or SAM, make it project management frameworks only, no design techniques or strategies. And eventually it did come around and give me what I was looking for. But, that's not something someone would really have been able to do without at least having some background knowledge on that. So just be aware, you do need the human expert or knowledge to be able to look at that content and verify whether it's correct or not. But this is a great tool for at least getting started in your research and your frameworks. I really like using Google Bard or ChatGPT for putting together outlines. So at least just getting me started thinking about how to organize a topic that I want to write about, or even if we're starting fresh for a new course for a client, it gives me something to compare against, am I missing anything? My initial analysis, are there maybe topics that, the client didn't realize or put in their own analysis if we, start from that point, that, it just gives you some extra things to consider and kind of compare your work against. So that is a completely free tool. You can sign up on Google. I believe it's open to everybody now. And completely free. So some tips I would recommend you play with it a little bit, be able to verify the output result, of course, be specific as possible with your prompts, and then, play around with how to give it a voice. So asking it to write back in the style of, a particular author even, or a certain role in a company. Or you can even use it as an editor. But I have another tool that I like to use for kind of helping me rewrite content and giving me ideas on how to make it better. And that's WordTune.
Oh, before you go to work, Jen, I want to ask one
Yeah,
question before you.
sure.
There's been a lot of talk of ChatGPT. Just it's been the darling. There's a lot of uh, a lot of topics, a lot of people speaking about it right now.
Yeah.
Is there any real difference in the interface? Are there any real like pros and cons to the different interfaces? Or do they operate essentially the same? Are they, or anything that you'd put on the table there?
And presenter view won't let me open those, but like I said, I'll make these slides available, and you guys can actually click on those little HTML files, and it will pop up the conversation that I had with it to get the output that I was looking for. The first one, the PM frameworks, is pretty entertaining. But to answer your question, I would say that ChatGPT is a little, it's beautiful in its simplicity. What I do like about it is that it actually saves all of your conversations. And so far, I don't think Google Bard does that. You have to actually save the conversation yourself. So if you go back to it, it's like a brand new conversation, and you don't have your history saved the way that ChatGPT does. So I really like that about ChatGPT, that I can go back to a conversation and pick up where we left off, even if it's weeks later. And you might be able to do that with Google Bard, but not in my experience so far. Maybe I haven't figured out how to turn that on.
Okay, no, but that's actually a huge difference. Even if it's just, by default, ChatGPT is storing each of those texts, and that's something we've talked about here in some of the other speakers about refining you could think of, here's my instructional design chat, here's my I am a teacher to my kids chat, here is my whatever, and so each one has sort of different context, different voice, different reasoning behind it, and to continue those actually refines the results that you get going forward. So that's an important distinction.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing, kind of unrelated to training development, that I like to use either of these tools for, just text generation in general, is travel itineraries. I was totally blown away. Yeah, very helpful in helping you find like new things to explore, even in your own hometown. So I would recommend just trying that out, like come up with a little weekend travel itinerary and go do some fun stuff. But moving on to WordTune. So WordTune, kind of similar. It is text generation AI, but more from the perspective of helping you rewrite and improve content. You can kind of paste your content in and say, rewrite this for me, make it, in the voice of some other agent, or you can add spices, which are kind of little neat things you can use or tools you can use, little drop downs to enhance or expand, add facts, and kind of just in general improve the writing. Although, you want to go not too heavy-handed with some of these, because it can, not improve your writing and actively make it worse if you go a little overboard on one method or the other. But I'll let's show you the little demonstration I put together here. So you can actually use WordTune as a Chrome extension and access that through your your email or other applications. So it just gave me a really quick tutorial here, letting me know that I can just rewrite stuff. You can generate text from scratch. So if you just give it a prompt, and that's what I did in this example. So I chose the voice. I chose a formal voice, and I think I was really just trying to figure out how this works. So I chose, a template to start with, and gave it some prompt. I think there's 5 ways video can enhance training. And it gave me a little blog post about that. Yeah, there we go. And so I can either accept, take that back just a second. I can accept, regenerate, or discard. So it just gives me those options from the get-go, which is really nice. If I'm not happy with the response, I can regenerate that. And I thought it was, it's a little bare, But that's what these spices are for. So you can choose a spice to elaborate or expand or give an example. You can accept or reject that suggestion or have it generate an additional suggestion. So I think here, just one sentence on each was very, it starts with a framework really, and then allows you to kind of expand where you want. You can cut out whole pieces or rewrite them or ask it to rewrite them. And, you choose your different, choose from different suggestions that it offers. You do have a limited number of spices. So do keep that in mind if you have a free account. I think you only get 5 a day or something. And they may not be entirely accurate. Again, this is, generative AI is doing its best, but it's not, it doesn't hold, all of that knowledge actively the way that we do, right? And it accesses things that it thinks are related. And sometimes it may not be necessarily within the context that you mean it. For example, some of these little expansions or that I implemented here started kind of veering the topic more towards like a K through 12 education perspective rather than like a corporate training perspective. So that's something to watch out for. Some of the statistics that I wanted to put in there were very much geared like not to the content I was going for. So just some things to look out for, but really, really helpful for, overcoming writer's block, just, expanding on your writing and making it more robust. And just, really making that process really quick. So I'm going to let you guys check out more of that on your own if you like. WordTune is free to play around with, and I believe it is $10 a month for unlimited spices and generation. So pretty sweet deal if you're doing a lot of writing and you need something like that to help you kind of fill out your text. I think that's a really decent price. So my next tool is InVideo. I was really excited to find this because I have done a lot of playing around with tools like Powtoon and Animaker and quick video generation tools. Even in Canva has some capability to do that. And I use that quite a lot in the work that I do. So InVideo is an AI generation tool that helps you create explainer videos from text prompts. It is not a free tool, although I think you get like a free trial or like one you can generate video but not export or download it with the trial, so you can at least play with the tool and figure out how it works and see if it is going to work for you and you like the interface before you pay for anything. But you cannot download any of those videos for free. I believe you need a paid account for that. So in InVideo, you can choose from templates or just put in your text. I think you can just start from nothing. I think I chose some templates here, and just for the sake of time, because I know we've got a lot to get through. What did I do here? So you can choose from a ton of different templates and also formats like 16:9 or mobile or like Instagram post size. So you can choose. And then from here, you kind of see how the different pieces are put together. They kind of work slide based, similar to Powtoon or some of those other rapid video generation tools. And you choose your size. There, it has the music embedded in everything for you. I'm going to just skip ahead a little bit to the text prompt. And here you have the ability to input the script that you want, or you can describe what type of video you'd like to generate. And I think what I was going here was for like tips for work-life balance, and then I just put in a healthy balance in life, which is still pretty relevant, I think, for today's day and age. It's kind of, you know, one of those topics that you see in all the LMS tools have like their set courses available. That's usually one of them. So you see it generated a script there for me, which I can edit before I have it create the scenes, which is really nice. So you can start with very little, or you can start with a fully fledged out script ready to go, and it'll parse that out for you in scenes. And we'll just skip ahead to some of the generation, past some of the generation here. And you can see all the scenes down here on the left. And it just completely automates all of the video generation. It grabs different stock video and stock images from different from its sources and libraries, places all the text and animations for you. And that really jazzy background music. And then you can replace the different media backgrounds, or, you know, change colors, or I think I was trying to put in some media from my hard drive there, and I was not getting it right at all when it's asking you to drag and drop media here. So there's a little bit of a learning curve. When it asks you to drag and drop media here, you have to actually upload it through the tools on the left. If you guys have used Canva before, you'll be a little bit more familiar with this, but it took me a minute to figure it out. So you can enjoy my fumbling through that in that video if you want to check out the presentation from the download link I'll get for you guys. There you can see I finally figured out how to replace the video there. So I would say the biggest thing with this one is, there's a little bit of a learning curve using this tool, being that, video's just a little bit more complex of an output. It's definitely a lot easier to learn than Premiere Pro, but it does have a bit of a learning curve. So I would suggest playing around with it before you upgrade. Even if this looks really great, just to make sure that that the interface is going to work out for you. But in the end, you get a different kind of view, editor view. If you like that more timeline perspective, you can kind of see it both ways and adjust those transitions between slides. So, and you can change the length, which I thought was really nice. So I think over in here, I figured out how to change the length of one of these. You can edit duration and change the number of seconds or minutes or frames that you want that to display for. So it's quite robust. You can do a lot with this tool. And being that it does most of the work for you, you just have to kind of adjust and verify and make sure that the content is what you're looking for. Yeah, so that's in video. Again, $15 a month with limited downloads, $30 a month, I think, for unlimited downloads. And yeah, pretty great tool. So far, the best video generation tool that I've seen in AI. If you've heard of any others, or if you know of more, please find me on LinkedIn and drop me a message, because that's my jam. I want to know about it. If there's a better AI video tool out there, then I would like to hear from you. All right, so on to Whisper AI and Google Collaboratory. So this was something that I've actively been using on a project, and I have been really impressed with it. I've used other transcription software before, and this has been by far my favorite. It's got a little bit of some awkward setup, but it does transcribe more accurately than any other tool I've seen. And it's actually pretty easy to set up. It's not that complicated. I did include a link here to a YouTube video that gives full instructions on how to set up Google Collaboratory and Whisper AI. And I've included the the code prompts that you need, down here, that you can copy and paste from the presentation and use. And just as a quick reference, I've saved it as a notepad file on my desktop so that I can just access that really quickly if I need to, if I need to rerun that in Google Collaboratory. So yeah, let's check it out. So this is the Google Collaboratory environment. You'll recognize this if you're a Google Docs user. And there is a little bit of setup involved. Again, like I said, that video takes care of most of that. Here I have set up. Oh, I'm going to turn my audio off for this one because I did kind of provide instructions on how I do it. But I just copied my code in there. So this is Google Collaboratory. And with this bit of code, I am installing Whisper to Google Collaboratory. So that's almost like, it's almost like a remote computer that you can install programs onto without installing those programs onto your local drive. So you can download and install Whisper directly onto your local drive, and that might be less complicated. It might be easier for folks. I didn't want to. I just wanted to try this out and play with it and see what happened on Collaboratory. I had never used Collaboratory before, so it was a fun learning experiment for me. So what happened here is I installed Whisper AI with that little code snippet and the run button there. So it finished installing everything. And I'm also uploading my MP4. So that was that file that I dragged right here into the file folder area in Collaboratory. You can see the progress right there. So that's uploading. And now that it's done, I can take that other little snippet of code, hit my plus code button up here, and paste that code in. And then I want to make sure that the file name matches exactly to what I've uploaded. And you can run from a small, medium, or large model. And I believe what that means, and I think that video that I linked to explains a little better than I can, but I think what that means is like the size of the model that it's using to transcribe the audio. So the larger the model, the more time it will take to transcribe or run, but the more accurate it would be. So I chose a medium model and English as the target language, which when you choose the language, it actually does cut down on some of the runtime, because it actually spends some of that initial runtime determining what language the audio is using. So if you just tell it it's English, it doesn't need to take that extra step. And so here you can see it's actually transcribing line by line with timestamps what's being said at what point. And so all of that, it just kind of keeps populating lines until it's done. And I believe you'll know because that'll stop spinning. So that indicates that it's finished running. So we're just going to skip ahead a little bit. And sensitive scroll button on my mouse. Sorry, guys. So here we were running and it was spitting out line by line, timestamp by timestamp, what was being said in that video. You can use MP3 files, M4A files, other video formats, I believe. Now that it's done, I've refreshed my file library here and it spit out a bunch of different file formats. So I'm going to download that .txt file. Choose where I want it. And then now it's just saved as a notepad file. And I can copy and paste this into whatever application I want to use it in, whether it's Word or PowerPoint or Storyline or, maybe even a audio generation tool like Well Said Labs. And that was that. That was, it's pretty quick and easy and extremely accurate. You do have to do some file formatting with, paragraph entries in the middle of a sentence. Sometimes that does happen. So just to just keep an eye on that. But that was Whisper AI on installed on Google Collaboratory. And again, you can see here the link to get some instructions on that, and the code that I used down at the bottom, which I think is included on those instructions. You'll find that in there too. But totally free and extremely accurate. So I love using that. All right. My next tool to share with you guys is SoundDraw. And I really enjoyed this one. This is super fun. I love playing with sound files and music. So this is just, it's so great. You guys are going to love this one. So you can adjust, you can choose your music style, tempo, and then you can adjust high, low points in the track. You can change out instruments that are being used. It's pretty impressive. So the use case that I see this being ideal for is when you want music to convey a particular attitude or feeling throughout a slide or a portion of your course or training or even video, where, you know, you need a certain tempo at a certain time, or you want like the music to crescendo at a certain point of like along with some kind of narration, right? So I would say, you know, you definitely want to start with your script and content to know what you need from your music, but you can do some really fun stuff with this. So this is SoundDraw.io. And you can play around with it for free. And I believe you need a paid account to download the track that you've edited. You choose the length. You can set the tempo and select the mood. So they have a ton there to choose from: euphoric, hopeful, laid back, peaceful, restless, scary. So you really can create a lot of variety. Or you have a lot of variety to start with, and then you can, you know, really customize them to what you need. So you can see the energy at the bottom is the kind of low, hot, low, medium. So that's kind of where the track is starting out at. And you click those to change them. So right there in the middle, as I changed that from medium to high, it added another layer on top of that track, or took one away. So you can hear that change as I select through those different options. So I was kind of just clicking around and seeing what I could do here. If you want to save your changes to a track or share it, you do need to create an account. And I believe, yep, I just went through to find a different track here. So I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. Found myself another track and was playing around with the energy levels there. And then in Pro mode, you can expand all these other options that are going to give you the ability to adjust the melody, the backing, bass, drums, and those transitions, those fills between portions in the song. And, you know, if I found one reason I really like this is I found that certain like flare drum sounds, or I'm probably not saying that right. I'm not the drummer. My husband's the drummer. But certain like sounds like from a drum roll or cymbals, I guess, can really clash with voiceover and make it really difficult to hear. So I might really like a song, but that one element to the song is makes it, you know, really distracting against the narration. So I like to use this to, you know, kind of take out what doesn't work very well with voiceover, and just kind of make that a little bit more, you know, listener friendly, I guess. And I think what I was doing here was changing out, I'm just going to pause it there real quick so you guys can see that. you can change out the instrument types for these different elements of music. So if you want, rather than like a traditional piano sound, you want something more electronic, you can change that to synth. And you switch out these different drum styles or bass styles, which I thought was really cool. You can give that song a whole different sound that, fits the mood and the feeling that you're trying to convey in your content. Also, it's just really fun to play with. But that is SoundDraw. And let's move on to the next one. Oh, let me go back. Actually, sorry, that was $16.99 a month for a SoundDraw subscription. There is a lot of flexibility there, but it is helpful to have some music composition knowledge and at least know what those different things are in different terms. But I know very little about it, but I still got by and could figure it out. So there's a little bit of a learning curve if you're willing to spend some time playing around with it, or if you have some basic music composition knowledge, like that's going to help you out using this tool. But very intuitive interface, as you guys saw, and just a pleasure to play with. So that is SoundDraw. My next tool for you guys is 7taps AI. So I was recently playing around with a free trial of 7taps, and I'm sure you guys have seen them all over LinkedIn. They are involved with the microlearning conference, and really great, robust microlearning tool, very mobile friendly. Recently, they've implemented some AI functionality into their tool that I was really impressed with. I thought it was really, really neat. There is kind of, a limited format to your output there, being that kind of mobile slide-based format that, is still viewable on a desktop or a PC, but really designed for mobile. So it's limited in that sense, but really easy to use and super quick to generate kind of simple, small courses. Again, like any generative AI, it does require kind of verifying that output. And it does use like Synthesia style AI avatars that, read out text and with the mouth movements. That's not really my favorite thing to use yet. It is absolutely getting better and better all the time. But I think there's still a little uncanny valley. So there's that. But that's not the only, that's not the only AI aspect to this tool. So so I thought it was worth sharing with you guys just how easy it is to use. So I hit create a course here and chose from their AI builder. And it just sets you up right away with the prompt. What are you looking to develop here? Then I kind of thought about it. Oh, that's probably not a very good prompt. But I wanted to give it very little, right? My whole goal here was to how little can I give it and how much will it give me in return for, a fairly terrible prompt. So we let it generate here. I'm just going to skip ahead a bit because I think that does take some time. And then it pops out with the course. And you can see in the bottom here, that's the number of slides. I think, oh. I was just kind of looking through and seeing, okay, what are on each of these slides, reading through them. Okay, you do want to, it kind of tells you what to do with this slide. You do want to delete that after you publish or before you publish your course. And then how it started off, this article looks at how to assess. Oh, so that's a red flag to me right there. You definitely want to check your output. But I was really impressed with how much it put together from so little input. and it really did research the topic on its own and come up with some sort of framework and outline for this course. And although it's very minimal and it's bare, much like what we saw in WordTune and some of the other text generation, it may not be quite accurate. You might need to reword or rewrite or adjust your content, but it really does give you a great starting point. And the fact that it kind of parses it all out into different, I think they're called cards in 7TAPS. It just organizes it all for you, and you can kind of adjust and move and rewrite as needed. So also, I think there's definitely some value in like mobile-friendly swipe-based training. There certainly are some applications where it really makes sense to do that, and others where it doesn't, just like any kind of modality, right? No modality is perfect for every content, and that's why we have variety. So here I was just kind of clicking through the different slides. It gives me some content, and then has kind of a little test question here, or knowledge check question here. It gives you the option to follow it up with some feedback. Ask there's another questions type card over here, and then we have our AI avatar that's going to read out some ending conclusion to the course, which I believe, yeah, you can edit the script and change that up so that, if she's not concluding quite the way you'd like to, you can change that up, or even put it at the beginning of the course and change out the text entirely, or script. So limited in format, but very quick and very easy to make a course really quickly. Probably one of the more expensive tools. So I would say it's something that, if your organization's already using it, great, that, you may be able to speed up your development with the AI features. Or if your organization is looking for mobile friendly training, or even for smaller organizations that don't have an LMS and don't have a huge course content library and everything, might be really beneficial to quickly get out the information that they need. Because $99 a month for, one editor to create a bunch of courses and unlimited users, that's pretty decent. It's definitely a lot cheaper than some LMSs, but again, it might be more than you need, right? So if you're looking for just one thing that you want to put in your own LMS, then it may or may not. I think we barely have time for, is Well Said Labs. I use this almost daily, and I do have a little bit of a moral conflict in that, because I think it has made things very challenging for voiceover artists, and we used to do a lot of work with voiceover artists. More recently, we use a lot more Well Said Labs, and part of that is because it's easier to iterate. It definitely is cheaper, but again, you do get what you pay for in a sense, because as much as I like using this tool, and we use it for a lot of courses that we make, it's not great for everything. I find that, you definitely can't just throw some text in there, generate your audio, download the file, and put it in your course, because you will end up with weird pronunciation issues. Almost guaranteed. It's happened to me nearly every file. So I do need to play around with capitalizing words or using quotations for emphasis, adding paragraph breaks and the ellipses for longer pauses, a lot of commas to make it just sound more natural. And then I found that, it does have trouble sometimes spelling or pronouncing names, especially names of people, places, software, that kind of thing. So and even individual letters. I've had 3 characters have difficulty with the letter W, which is admittedly kind of an awkward thing to say, W. Just, yeah. But it does require some adjustment, really, is all I'm going to say about it. Also really not great for scenario dialogue. If you have like 2 characters talking to each other, it still does not sound very natural to me. Some of them have a conversational option that will help make that speech more natural. But I think for conversational scenarios and emotive dialogue, you're probably better off going with a real voiceover artist. And there's a reason for that, right? These are still robots, right? The pricing for Well Said Labs does vary per plan. I think there is quite a variation and flexibility there. $49 a month for 250 downloads, and over 1,000 a year for 9,000 downloads. But that's for downloads, not for generations. So you can generate something until it sounds right for you and then download it. And you're only, it's only taking away from your amount for what you actually download. So I thought that was really nice. I don't have any examples of this one because I believe you can just hop on their site and play with a free trial. It's pretty intuitive to use. There's tons of different voices that you can choose from, and different styles, different accents. They're adding more all the time. And it's just super easy to use. Again, there's a little bit of time that needs to be taken to verify that pronunciation is really getting down what you need. So there get some weird stuff sometimes, like sometimes even numbers it has a hard time with. So that's just something to look out for on that one. But again, super quick and easy to use. Like most of these tools, they're meant to save us time, not to replace us entirely. And, we're going to need AI as much as AI needs us, I guess. We can't just expect it to do everything right and everything great. The first time around, right? It's all new technology and it's still in development, right? But I did put this list together for you guys, the end of the presentation. If you'd like to download the presentation files, we'll make that available to you. Here's some links to some articles that I found helpful in the process of putting this presentation together. Some blogs that, stay up to date on some of these tools and technological advances, like the NVIDIA blog and Google AI blog are great to kind of keep an eye on. Some YouTube channels that I have found really helpful. Gotta Go is an architect who had no previous coding or computer science background and experiments and plays with different AI tools, and recently released a video on Auto GPT that I thought was absolutely fascinating. But I really enjoy her content, so go check that out. And some other videos there. Lately we have seen a lot of buzz about the potential dangers of AI and how things could possibly go wrong. We've heard a lot of experts in the field speak out against the rapid progression that we're seeing and kind of calling for folks to slow it down. And that YouTube episode there from the ex-Google guy, I can't remember his title right now, but it's pretty insightful, and I recommend you check that out just so you understand where people are coming from with the doom and gloom, and what's potentially scary about AI, right? There's a lot of fun stuff that we just looked at and things that seem really harmless, but there are some legitimate concerns about the progression of this tech. So if you're curious about that, go check that out. And then the last two at the bottom there are just some trackers. The top one just tracks AI research and kind of talks about or shows, what's being done with these different tools and technologies and how we're examining that, right? And then the second one is a database of AI tools that you can search for. You can search for different AI tools depending on the purpose and the output that you're looking for. So I found that really helpful. I found a lot of these tools through futuretools.io. And that's it. I think that's all I have to share for you guys.
Super cool. I mean, this was, I definitely, I really appreciate all of the work that you put into like a really, really solid review of these tools that you're working with, and you found have been able to help you, as you just said, increase your efficiencies, your productivity, and whatever. And I love how much fun that you had with the sound draw. Is that what it was? The sound draw one. Like, I mean, I'm a musician myself. I love that. That aspect of it as well. But I thank you so much for all of the hard work that you put into this review. I'm sure everybody's going to find it very helpful.
Great. Thank you.
That very last link, that futuretools.io, that's going to be a really cool link for everybody to check out too.
Yeah, definitely. And there's more and more popping up every day, right? I think when I signed up to present, I had a whole different list of tools that I wanted to look at, and I replaced almost every single one of them. So things are changing fast. Go and play with these while they're still around, because who knows, in 6 months it might be something different.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.